So how's everything in Houston, Texas today?
It's a beautiful day out today.
It is beautiful. 86, 87 in Round Rock, Austin.
And just for complete transparency for everybody on the call, we have started recording of the call, of the meeting, excuse me. We have started a recording.
You started the recording, but you haven't started the actual meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Hello, Trustee Guidry.
Hello, how's everyone today?
Okay. I think everyone's good. Is Mr. Fraley on?
He is not. Unless Mr. Flores, he is that 516 number.
I don't believe so. He's an 832 number. Let me call him here he is.
He's here.
And
yes.
he will be the presenter and I'll be the co-presenter.
Perfect. Okay, so that means everyone's on the call, correct? That's presenting? And I can begin the meeting?
Let's see, Mr. Fraley, your sound's off.
How about that?
Yes.
A little better?
Yes, it's good. I
Okay,
think we're ready. It's 5:02, so we're ready to get started. Teachers, I know, have had a busy day. It's STAR test.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this virtual town hall meeting. The Board of Education has been seeking community input on choosing a permanent superintendent to lead the Houston Independent School District. It is very important for us to hear from the community members about their priorities in this selection, especially those who are most directly affected by this decision, including teachers who are joining us this evening. As a previous HISD teacher, I know how important teacher voice is. We thank you for your participation. We have several board members with us this evening. Those present via Microsoft Teams are Trustee Sung, Trustee Guidry, Trustee Santos, and myself, Trustee Hernandez. And I believe that's all of us, correct? Yeah. Trustees, please put your microphones on mute and turn your video on so your colleagues and the public can see you. We will now hear from JG Consulting concerning the superintendent's search. Mr. Guerra, we are ready for your presentation.
Thank you, trustees. My name is Alton Fraley with JG Consulting. Very happy to be with you all today. We have been retained by the board to conduct the search of superintendent of schools at HISD, a very important search, as Trustee Hernandez mentioned, and very excited about that. I'll let my colleagues, Dr. Flores, introduce himself. I'll tell you about me, and then we'll get started. So Flores.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Fraley, and it's always great to be with teachers. As a former teacher myself, I began in 1983 as a paraprofessional and became a teacher in 1986. So it's been a long journey. So I know that the voice of teachers is so critical. So I thank the board for giving us the opportunity to focus today just on hearing from teachers in Houston ISD. So thank you, teachers, for what you do. The last 13 years, I've served as superintendent of 2 school districts, one Harlingen CISD, which is in the lower Rio Grande Valley, and I just retired last week officially from Round Rock ISD after 7.5 years. So right now, my search has, or working with JG as a senior consultant is really a powerful move for us in the sense that understanding how urban education, the future of our democracy is dependent on public education, but it is more dependent on how well we do in the urban centers. Having worked in Dallas ISD as a chief of staff, I know the urban setting. However, Dallas is small compared to Houston. So we're going to take this very seriously. We're going to want to hear from you. And again, thanks to the board and the teachers that are joining in, and we're going to want to hear from you. So I'll turn it back over to Alton, and I'll be interjecting and taking notes throughout. So thank you so much. You're muted, Mr. Fraley.
Most famous words nowadays, you're still muted. All right. My name is Alton Fraley, retired superintendent somewhat. I began my career working with special needs kids in Baytown. Moved from there to Spring Branch ISD as a principal, and then from there to central office as well. Became superintendent of schools in Cincinnati, Ohio, then back to DeSoto ISD in Texas, and was in Katy ISD for 9 years, retired from Katy ISD as superintendent in 2016. And then got a call 18 months later to go to my hometown of Nacogdoches as interim superintendent for a 4-month gig, turned into a 2-year gig. But we are officially retired again now and work with JG Consulting, and very excited about this HISD search. This is personal. Houston is my adopted hometown. My wife and I, we love Houston, and HISD is so important to the city and to the region. We're very excited to work with this board of trustees to find the best leader we possibly can for the next phase of HISD. A little bit about the timeline. We have been working since early March. It's been a while, and we've done a lot of meetings. And the board has been tremendously supportive. We've been with each of the trustees individually, and they have a lot of things in common about what they want for the school system. So we're very excited about that. There's no big discrepancy there. Our intention is to get the job posted April 9th, and the posting will be open from April 9th through April 30th. The board will review applicants that come in, and they'll select the ones to interview. And looking at a first interview being May 13th and 14th, and maybe round 2, May 20th and 21st, hoping to announce a lone finalist May 24th. Again, this is the calendar we're working with. Things can change, but this is where we are right now. So we'll be asking 4 questions that we've asked of all the committees and groups we've met with across the city. And your responses help build a profile that the board will turn into advertising for the job. So we're very excited about that. So your work is very important. Your comments are very important. Your input's very important, because this is what we're asking the person to come here and do. That's what you're telling us that you want. Now, I would like to begin with a positive, and that is the first question of the 4 is, what are your hopes and aspirations? And we'll have the chat opened up. We'll have the question list. You can comment there. We'll capture. You may hear me typing as you're talking, or Dr. Boyd is typing as we talk as well, to capture as much as we possibly can. And we'll get a report back from the team's documentation as well. So question number 1 again is, what are your hopes and aspirations for HISD going forward? What do you want to see in HISD and the next leader? And just what your vision for the school system as a whole? So we'll open it up and give you time to begin to respond there. So we got that going on. So just type in your comments there and we'll capture them. Dr. Flores is the proficient one with this.
Mr. Fraley, I'm going to interrupt you really quickly. We have 2 other trustees, Trustee Dygard and
Yes.
Trustee Villaseca, who have also joined us. So now we are a quorum. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So any comments regarding that first question, your hopes and aspirations for HISD? And there, and will Flores get anything to publish yet?
No, I have not seen that, and I know that usually the featured allows me to see what's coming through. I don't know if somebody else may have that feature, since we do have multiple individuals with access. So usually there's a feature that says, that allows you to publish. So if you see, okay, I do see Tony Patterson. I hope we can find a superintendent who looks for administrators and teachers' talents and allows them to excel rather than just pushing an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Awesome, awesome. So that's how it goes. You know, we'll take what you add and put that in the mix and come up with our profile. So that's the first question. And I'll go ahead and lay the second question on the table as well. The second question is, what are some celebrations, some things you're kind of proud of about HISD as well? We know there are many challenges. We'll get to that question number 3, but right now, what are you proud of? There are lots to celebrate that we can think of that we've learned through this process. We want to hear from you guys. What are some things you want to see more of that you're proud of in HISD? So the first one is the big picture, the vision, the hopes and aspirations for HISD going forward. Second one right now on the table is what are you kind of proud of? What do you want to celebrate for HISD? And please forgive my voice, I'm fighting allergies all day long.
Yes. And as we're waiting on some chat features and some more comments, one of the things that Mr. Fraley pointed out, we've had numerous meetings where we've conducted several of these. These are the same questions we've asked so that we can compile that list so that we can submit this to the board, and this will develop, and Mr. Fraley will go in more detail, this will develop a profile for the perfect fit, we hope, for HISD. I'm proud of the diversity at HISD, as has just been noted. That's been a common strand throughout. The diversity is very rich in diversity in Houston ISD. Many students also speak to that, and we'll be speaking to students tomorrow as well, so just to let you know. But students also take great pride in the diversity at HISD, as do the employees we visited with. Another is I would like to see HISD restored to a district that provides, restored to a place, well, I mean, I'm trying to get to, I would like to see HISD restored to a district that provides a place where it actually supports and provides adequate training for its teachers. So adequate training for teachers. Parent says, as a parent, I would like to see improved high school graduation rates, minimize school violence, bullying, and more individualized student instruction. So again, thank you for these comments. And these comments, Microsoft Teams does record these comments and keeps these, and it'll be a printout. So it does a great job of capturing your comments. So feel free, take your time to interject at any point in time you'd like. We know you've had a busy day, teachers, so maybe just get a chance to catch your breath. And we'll slow it down a little bit.
Something I want to celebrate as you all are contemplating your comments regarding hopes and aspirations and things you want to celebrate. I think this is number 59 that I've been involved with meetings across the board, and the comments have been very, very similar. They really have been. I think more folks are on the same page in terms of hopes and aspirations than they may realize. I think the challenge is having a conversation to make certain we have the same definitions for the terms we use, because we can say the same thing, but do we mean the same thing? And also, what evidence would we accept that we're doing, or the folks are doing what you've asked them to do? I think those are some challenges there, but the celebration is you're really a lot closer across the city. We met with students and parents and community leaders, elected officials, and many folks are saying the same types of things in terms of aspirations, and lots of celebrations, And I think we sometimes forget to appreciate, because we're too close to it, I guess, the good things that are going on. HISD has a great reputation, as well as the challenges that we like to talk about. But when we ask about these specific celebrations, there are many things that have been shared across the board. When we ask about aspirations, a lot of the same hopes and aspirations are out there. We all want the best for our kids. We want to have quality staff, quality support. There's so many things we have in common here. So more things are coming in, but I appreciate that. Yeah. And,
I'd like to see instructional technology implemented more effectively. I would also like to see more money spent at underserved campuses instead of magnet programs. And then at this current moment, another writes, I don't see much to celebrate.
And I can appreciate that, and I'm not going to say you're right or wrong. I'm just saying that I've heard a lot of celebrations from folks across this community that they're proud of. And, you know, when you talk about the innovation that's been in HISD, wraparound services in HISD, you have tremendous resources. We can argue all day long about how they should be allocated, but you have a lot of resources. It's just a matter of just getting everything aligned. So there really are some things to celebrate. There really are. I'm going to lay number 3 on the table as well. The third question, as we continue, number 1, again, what are your hopes and aspirations? 2, what are some celebrations? And 3, what are some current challenges that we feel must be overcome in order to achieve our hopes and aspirations? What are some challenges? And so we have 3 questions on the table: hopes and aspirations, celebrations, and what are some challenges? And what you need to really appreciate is you have the school board in front of you, unfiltered access to lay it on the line of what you're thinking. The board has really pushed hard to open up avenues to get feedback from folks. And so you really need to appreciate that, and you have it in front of you right now. So please talk to your board. They really want to hear from you. I mean, they've been consistent in demanding that we have additional meetings to get more folks an opportunity to provide feedback. And I think, and that to me is a celebration, that you have a board that's very receptive to hearing from you.
A comment just came in that says, my hopes and aspirations for HISD to become one of the top 5 urban school districts, leading in teacher pay and all student demographics, excelling in an academic success. All parts of HISD will work together to service all student outcomes.
Amen to that. That last part makes the first part happen. Okay, that last part makes the first part possible. When all are working together, you will become the top 5 in everything. In everything, it really can happen. So I greatly appreciate that comment. Three questions on the table for you to look at. Number 1, hopes and aspirations. 2, current celebrations. 3, current challenges. So in any order you want to respond, as you want to respond, we're here to hear you. The board is listening directly. There's no filter here. And I will say to you as well, again, as we've met with each trustee individually also, and we've asked them questions about their hopes and aspirations as well. And oftentimes they get caught up in the business of running the district and doing things. Don't always realize that there's a lot more in common than there is that they actually really disagree about. Because each person still are the same types of things in terms of hopes and aspirations for the school system. So we're very excited about the fact that the board, when you talk to them one-on-one, have a lot of the same hopes and aspirations for the school system. So to me, that sounds like a very good starting point. Yeah.
And a comment says there's deep division in HISD, and I feel like the focus of supporting and educating all students has and is sometimes or oftentimes lost. And again, urban school districts, with 200,000 plus students and staff, and so it can be sometimes problematic. But again, it's a focus on the challenges, as this question points out, to that can lead to some optimism as well when addressed. So excellent point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a teacher on here, I was just given notice that if you're a teacher on here, you can unmute yourself and talk directly to the search firm. So if you're a teacher on the call and you want to ask a question instead of typing it in, feel free to unmute yourself and talk directly to the search firm.
I'd like to go first, if that's okay.
Please.
This is Mr. Espinoza. I'm the band director at Waltrip High School. And
Sure.
I actually am in a rehearsal right now, so I have students in front of me. But they need to be a part of this process, obviously. And I hope that they all join the town hall tomorrow. We obviously have some concerns in terms of how we're truly supporting our students throughout. Obviously, academics, very important. However, there are so many things that help our kids to stay in school, come every day, and try even harder in those areas. And I believe fine arts in particular is one of those areas. I have nothing against anything else, but I know some history as far back as the 80s, where the amount of support that has come from the district towards fine arts has been very minimal. I've seen some outstanding things here in the last probably 10 to 12 years, as far back as 2007, where we had back-to-back years of some support financially, but then it just stopped abruptly. We're trying to see some things come back. We appreciate the idea of having a fine arts department. So that's a celebration point right there for the district to finally recognize the fine arts as its own department instead of being buried in the elementary curriculum department, because we offer so many things to all of the students. It's not one particular area. However, we are really struggling with resources and the place where we fit within our campuses when it comes to master scheduling. And that to me is a conversation between superintendent and principals, because those are the master schedulers. And so as it trickles down to us, those of us that are here in the trenches, we are really struggling to maintain programs. I'm very lucky because I have a strong tradition here, but my comrades all over the district, man, they are hurting bad. I watch a chat room almost daily and hear about struggles, and these people are so afraid, from the east side of town to the south side of town, north, west, all of it. And it just pains me because those young people deserve the same opportunity as anybody else. I was on a meeting last week with the search forum, I believe, and one of the HSPVA students, now that's our top fine arts school, and this is their perception, that the district only supports buying them 4 pieces of music a school year. Now, if that's truly what's happening, I can doubt that a little bit, but I wouldn't be too surprised if that's what it is. And so I think a very clear idea and plan, which I believe we have some of the right people in place now that can work with the school board and hopefully with whomever is going to take this new superintendent position, to really stand beside us, and not just in front of the cameras, but when we're in these meetings talking about what's important. It needs to be some of these things that I'm talking about right now, because I, in particular, have struggled with working with our special education students. Why? Because I haven't had any training. And my resources are already lacking just with the general ed students. So you can imagine with a special ed student, my heart is breaking because I can't do what I do for all the students because my hands are tied. Okay. And so as much as we support the district, I've just been asked to go perform at the George R. Brown Convention Center and a couple other places. It's without, really understanding what it takes to put all this together. But we make it happen. And so it looks like everything is A-okay, but it's not. And so I hope we're really taking note of what the community is wanting and what our students need. And if I can be of help, I'm happy to sit on a committee or whatever to make some things happen, because we're in this together. And that's what we need in our superintendent, to bring it all together. But it's got to be with the child at the center of it. And right behind that, the students. I mean, the teachers, because teachers' hands are tied. That makes it very difficult. I sat in the hallway all day today because TEA STAR test stuff could not work. What a waste. And I can't believe that we've spent that much money on something like that when I could have been teaching somebody something. But instead, I'm going to do it right now until about 8 o'clock because I know it needs to be done. And all these young people, I'll show you real quick if I can. I'll just turn my screen around. They're here. That's your world famous jazz ensemble #1 from Waltrip High School. They internationally known, just like PVA and other places. So they want the best. That's all. And so I'm hoping that we can continue to find a way to offer that to them. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. I'm going to sit back and listen while I continue on here with the students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your service. Certainly, fine arts is very important. And during other meetings we've had with folks, that's come up quite a bit, support the fine arts, not just at HSPVA, but across the district in the neighborhood schools as well. So we're excited about that. And we got that part of more support for fine arts and better to train to work better with special needs students as well. So we know that's certainly a big challenge. Ms. Williams, I saw your hand. Michelle Williams.
Oh, hi, I'm Michelle Williams, Cashmere High School.
All right.
And thank you all for hosting this. It's not often that teachers are asked to come, especially in HISD. That's one of the issues that are challenges that I feel like we need to overcome to make the district better, having a true teacher voice. Secondly, I would really like to see the district move back to a instructional focus at the campus, not so much at the district level. I'm going to say this, and I'm not advocating for anyone to lose their jobs, but I feel like if we have teacher specialists at the campus, why do we have TDS at the district level? Because TDS come to our campuses for 2 days a week. There's no buy-in. They don't have permanent positions at the schools. They come in, they tell the teachers, you're supposed to do this, but then they leave. So it, to me, is counterproductive. And I feel like we could better use our resources where that Title I money that is being spent on those positions can be better used at the campus. And I think instructionally, it would help bringing in more teachers assistants for our pre-K programs, because I disagree with the school district having 24-year-olds with one teacher in a classroom and no help. That makes no sense. So, you know, just taking our money and being better stewards of it. Those are challenges that I see in HISD. Also, with our tier kids, we are a Title I district, and we have more kids that are below grade level than that are on grade level. So we need more resources. The North area is the largest school part in HISD, but yet we lack most of the resources. We don't have what we need. We don't have what we need for technology. We don't have those things. So, you know, when Mr. Carranza was here, he brought in Achieve 180. And what I was one of those teachers that went over to Cashmere Gardens Elementary. And that program, it brought in experienced teachers. We no longer have that. And I would like to see us overcome those challenges with more experienced principals that can lead high need schools, not having young teachers and a young principal at a campus where you have kids with a lot of different needs. So instructionally, just doing a better job with recruiting and using our money in a better way to where we can support our teachers and support our students and our schools that actually need it. And not that everybody doesn't need it, but we're only as strong as our weakest link. That's why we're in this position now, because Wheatley High School was one of those schools, which happens to be in our area. So if we build our weakest link, we won't find ourselves in this position again, because we don't have enough schools to carry our district. So, and that's what I would like to see and overcome these challenges. We need more experience. We need more principals with experience to make this district work. If not, we're going to find ourselves in the same position.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Williams. I got 3 key points from you there. We move to more instructional focus at the campus level, less driven by the district. Better stewards of funds with more resources for high need students and more experienced school administrators. Really appreciate that. Ms. Latson, thank you very much. Ms. Tracy Latson. Fine. There you go. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Tracy Latson. I am a teacher at Meyerland Performing and Visual Arts Middle School. Thank you so much for including teachers. Um, so often the teacher voice is lost. So I really appreciate this. I just can't tell you enough. Thank you. So my third question, I put in question 1 and 2, but the third question, there's a lot, so I'm just going to say it. So I believe the main problem is because HISD is so large, it's now fractured into smaller components to maintain, and the oversee of all the different components are not overlapping. Um, in my opinion, they have created upper management levels to try to branch that gap and help the components lap over and lead over to the schools and to the students, but it's not working. So I hope we really have a superintendent that is very familiar with our urban large school, because I really believe we're so fragmented that we don't know what one hand is doing and the other hand is doing. The decentralization, I think in theory, works on paper, um, but it's creating situations where you have campuses that have a lot and then campuses that don't. And that gap is growing. And that's what I'm hearing from staff members, from schools, from principals. That's the disgruntled. If you're at a campus that has all the bells and whistles, you're happy. But if you're at a campus that does not have all the bells and whistles, and I don't, and actually let me take that away. It's not even the bells and whistles. It's the basics. A school
It's
nurse,
interesting.
a
Mhm.
counselor, custodians. So I want you to take away that bells and whistles, because we have campuses that don't have the basics. But I really think if we get a superintendent that is familiar with a large urban district, that would help alleviate the problem. One of the problems. Another disparity is the magnet. The theory of school choice sounds really good and appealing on paper, but again, it's not materializing across the board. And so the magnet situation has to be tackled. I know it's a difficult pill to tackle because no one is going to be completely happy. But the superintendent is going to have the strength, and board members, all of you are on here, the support, because that's very important. The support to make the changes that needs to be made so that it's fair across the board. Teacher pay. We have a large turnover of teachers, um, and it's only getting worse. That issue has to be addressed. You cannot have an urban school district when you are the lowest paid um, district for teachers. That just cannot happen. Now, will that gap, decrease immediately? No. We realize that it's going to take time, but if you don't have quality teachers in the classroom, if you can't attract the best teachers in the classroom, that's going to be a problem. Um, I noticed at a campus level, the principal, the requirement that our principals need is getting more in depth. They pretty much have to have full knowledge on budgets. That used to not be. They just used to have the educational component. So the growth of our principals, we have a lot of new principals, and I'm not, well, I'm not necessarily saying their qualifications, weren't what they should have been, but it might require that, some of the training of the principals just needs to be addressed, re-looked at, maybe refocused. If it's an elementary principal, I'm not sure that they can just jump up to be a high school principal, because that growth is, kind of disparity. It just needs to be looked at for the principal, because if you don't have a strong principal on campus, and I say the principal's position really is just as important as a quality teacher. There's a lot of talk about teacher allotment, having the top teachers on campus. But if you have a principal that is not secure, does not know how to create a safe environment on campus, that cannot manage the budget, that does not know which positions to advocate for, then you're going to have a school that is struggling. So just the superintendent there, I mean, there's just, we do have a lot of, we just have a lot of, we do have a lot of challenges, and I don't want to just be like the dumping ground, because there's a lot of spots where there are positive moments. I don't want you to think, oh gosh, the teachers just think HISD is horrible, because I don't. I love HISD. I've been here for 25 years. But
Ms. Lasson, we have a number of folks
okay,
wanting to talk.
Sorry.
Let me summarize what I've got. You want the main problem, we have fractured into smaller components. And it's superintendent very familiar with large urban systems. Digitalization has caused some major resource gaps. We must make certain that we have certain core services, so counselors, nurses, etc. Magnet situation must be tackled, and that's going to require a lot of conversation right there. Teacher pay must be addressed to attract and retain quality staff. Better training of principals in school finance, climate, culture, and even staffing. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. TP, Wisdom High School. TP, you there?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is,
yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
my name is Tom Patterson, and I work at Wisdom High School as an English teacher. My background is in instructional technology, which I did in Dubai in the UAE. And I also speak 5 languages. So I help people to learn languages, or have in the past. My concern, and I cannot speak for the whole district, but at Wisdom High School, is that, for example, they brought in a program called Edgenuity last year, and there really wasn't any implementation plan. Now, we might get some training on basically how to use it, but no implementation plan on how you're going to use the data, how you're going to use that for intervention, how you're going to get results for the district. I feel, and I love the diversity of the school. That's why I'm there, because there's so many languages spoken. I wanted to work there because I thought I would be useful because of my language skills. But what I think is that the Lexile level of reading for the students are so low that if the school would focus on getting those Lexile levels up, they would have a much better chance of passing STAR and other external exams and doing better. And I believe I have a lot to offer there. And there's a lot of talents that other teachers have that they had to offer. But what I see in administration is, even though they're successfully sending teacher specialists there, what they're lacking is looking into the talents of the teachers themselves and letting them to excel, in the sense that I know all about Achieve 3000 because I was a reseller in Dubai, and they're using it now at Wisdom High School, but they've never given me an opportunity to help other teachers to use it correctly and to get those results. And in Ingenuity, there was never a plan, as I mentioned before, and a lot of the other e-learning programs. So I would hope that when we get a new superintendent, as she works with the school, that will look into, because now with virtual learning, it seems like instructional technology is so important. Uh, how we're going to use it, how we're going to implement it, that's one of my concerns. And the other one is allowing the teachers to use their talents to be a part. We don't have to be administrators or trainers as a profession in order to help other teachers. And I feel that the school is very cliquish, the one that I'm working with. And if you're not in that clique, they're not allowing you to participate in the sense of helping other teachers where you have your strengths. They certainly focus on the weaknesses and trying to get you help, but they don't focus on letting you use your strengths to help other people.
All right.
That's it.
Mr. Patterson, get you to kind of share the time. You talked about focus on lexile levels for reading, which is very important in the various reading programs that are out there. Looking at instructional technology such as Ingenuity, that's one important. And two, allow teachers to use their talents and allow all to participate. And that's a major cultural thing to look at. So really appreciate that. All right, I think I've got 15 hands up now somewhere in there. Whoever's next in line, I don't have your name pop up. Mr. Hernandez, can you see who's next? I see a hand up, but it's tied to a plus 15 now. And so I don't know who. So if you would just kind of unmute yourself, the first voice out here, we'll take it.
I believe that's one of the people that's calling in from the phone.
Deborah
Okay.
Cogley has her hand raised.
Please, Deborah.
Okay, hello, my name is Deborah Cogley. I'm at Wilson Montessori as a first, second, third grade Montessori teacher. One of my major concerns, and I think that it carries over throughout all the way through high school, even though I teach first, second, third grade, is we don't seem to be holding to the promotion standards that the district has set. Frequently, students are passed who are not qualified to pass. And even when I have venomously said this child is not ready, they've moved them on. All that does is put this child at a major deficit that then in the next grade, you're trying to teach them all the things they didn't learn in the previous year, as well as this year. That really doesn't work. And what happens is that keeps happening year after year. And pretty soon the student is so far behind that the student has given up. Every year I hear about the board and everyone knocking on doors trying to get dropouts to come back to school. And every year I feel the same way. I always think they're 10 years too late. You needed to help that kid in first and second grade. And I think if so often we only think of students from third grade and on, and I think that's due to STAR. But we really need to start thinking about students as early as first and second grade and what can we do for them so that they're not walking into third grade already a year, 2 years behind, because that's almost impossible to get a kid up. The other area that I think that could really be addressed, particularly by a superintendent, is coordination across departments. For instance, last spring when we went virtual, all of the specialty departments, GT, SPED, 504, ESL, everybody needed documentation on their students, and that's great. But unfortunately, no one coordinated that, and every department came up with their own. That's fine for them, but it's not fine for that teacher who now has 5, 6 different kinds of documentation when they could have maybe made one form and just have the specialty items on one column, okay? We want to be helpful to everybody, but at the same time, our time has to be used wisely. So I think that coordination across departments would also be helpful in the curriculum area, because I'm not so sure. The way we're broken up, we go K through 2 and then 3 through 5. And as a person who teaches first, second, and third grade, I see a big difference between a second grade curriculum and a third grade curriculum. I mean, it's a really big leap from where you're leaving off as a second grader, if you follow just what HISD has down, versus where you're expected to start at third grade. I'm in a unique position in that because I'm teaching all 3 grades, and I see that. And I know where they have to be by the end of third grade. So I'm always often pushing my third graders for second graders beyond that. But that's not true of most second grade teachers because they wouldn't even necessarily know to do that. So those are just my thoughts.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. What I got here was we need to hold to promotion standards, and focusing on early learning preparation is very critical, and more coordination across departments, be more systemic. And so I really appreciate that. Who do they have next? Who's next? Just unmute yourself and talk to us. And again, we're trying to build a profile for the next superintendent, and a number of things will be part of the conversation that they'll need to have when they come into the district and begin. Hopefully they'll hold their own town hall meetings and really get more of the background and the meat of the issues that are that they're sharing with us today. I'm going to go ahead and open up that fourth question. Is what are some characteristics, traits, and experiences that you feel would help the new superintendent have the best chance of addressing all of our hopes, aspirations, and our challenges as well? So characteristics and experiences for the next superintendent, and to help them achieve and tackle the challenges and help achieve the hopes and aspirations. So there are four questions: hopes, aspirations, celebrations, challenges, and then characteristics of the next leader. What are some thoughts you have about that? Whoever's next, please unmute and we'll recognize the first voice we hear. Okay, do I see Jennifer Simmons?
Hi, yes, my name is Jennifer Simmons, and I'm actually a second-year teacher. I don't have, I wanted to just respond to one of the earlier questions, and that is having something, as a second-year teacher, I had mentorship, I had guidance and everything. I mean, at my first year, but as a second-year teacher, I would still love to have a go-to person, like a mentor that I can go to. And I think that the program only requires it for 1 year for teachers. And I am still growing. And so I would feel like it would be something that maybe we can put into place for new teachers to maybe have some type of stepping stone where they can just sort of grow with someone and then eventually kind of wean off after maybe the third year or so. That's really all I have to say.
Awesome. I think that's an excellent contribution. More mentoring for new teachers. You never know it all. You never know it all. Let's see. Let's see. Rebecca Suarez. Rebecca Suarez, I see your hand up. Maybe I didn't. I'm strolling down through the list now. You can either, if you don't want to raise your hand, just kind of unmute yourself and we'll take the first question here. That hurts. Coretta, I think, here we go. Oh, there we go. You want to talk to us? Oh, she's leaving. All right.
No, I'm still here, but I'm just listening for the time being.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we're good. Not a problem at all.
Okay.
Thanks for listening in. Who's next?
Mr. Fraley, as teachers continue to share their stories with us, they could also, those that are not, could be typing if they'd like, so that we capture their thoughts on the chat as well. I just wanted to remind that feature there.
Excellent point. Yeah, if you don't want to talk to us, just please type your thoughts in there and we'll capture those. And in the report, we're not going to publish who says what. We're just going to publish what we learn and turn that into a profile that will be used to advertise for the position. Now, I want to be certain to let you know, we may not capture every word verbatim in the profile, but a lot of what we're hearing it does fall in line with these four categories. So we'll be sure to capture the essence of it. And the board will look at it. If the board feels something's missing, they will certainly edit it and add it in there, and we'll get it going. Ms. Landry.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you so much for having us in this space. My name is Alice Landry. I teach at HSPVA downtown, and I felt for you when you were asking if anyone had any questions, and you just heard silence with a lot of boxes, because that is truly our current teaching experience, especially with high schoolers. The main thing that I wanted to express that I'm looking for in my superintendent, I think is a through line that goes into all of your questions. I think it's a commitment to communication, transparent communication. Many times, especially through COVID, I was rather dismayed that teachers were the last people to find information out. It'd go out to parents, it would go out in the press, and then we'd find out maybe a day later. I think that this meeting, quite frankly, after listening to board conversations, is evident of some of the opinion, perhaps how our current administration views teacher voices. It was asked numerous times to happen, and thank you, board, for allowing this to happen. And I think that is permeating the relationship with administration and teachers, and I would like to see that change. I would like to see a more respectful, robust, open line of communication to teachers, and have that be a two-way street.
Awesome. I want to make one correction. The board didn't allow this; they demanded it.
Yeah, well,
thank
you. You are right. That is the exact correct word that I would also use in how they, and rightly so. Exactly. But I think even on the public perception of something being asked for numerous times and had to go to a vote to happen might be a good indicator of the current temperature of how teachers are communicated with in the current administration, which I would like to, whether that's the intention or not, that is the result. So I would like to see that changed.
Well, again, and I think the celebration is the board really wants to hear the voices, and the board has really made some major shifts, I think, to become more responsive, to be more engaging and whatnot. And I'm just saying positive signs. I said from the outset, I want to be a reference for this board, to be somebody wants to work for. And I'm seeing so many positive signs of that right now. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your time and for all that you do. Okay. Anyone else?
Mr. Fraley, as Ms. Landry.
Don't mind me.
Hold on. Go ahead. Please.
No, go ahead. We'll defer to the teacher. I was going to make a comment on the chat feature, but a teacher speaking, so we will give that teacher the floor.
Okay,
go ahead,
thank
sir.
you so much. Sorry, I know I spoke once before. I just wanted to make a comment that sometimes at the school that I'm working at right now with administrators, I feel like I've had people come in, like 4 or 6 people in my room in one day. And not because I've done anything wrong. They're doing that to a lot of classes. So you feel kind of like intimidated, and you don't know exactly when someone's going to show up, what they're looking for. And it doesn't really seem like they're on your side and they're trying to help you to succeed. And it's a really very negative feeling. Now, I know, Mr. Fraley, you said you worked at KDISD before?
Yes, sir. 9 years.
9 years. Okay. So I used to work for Seven Lakes High School, and just to make a comparison, I worked there before I went to Dubai. The principal over there, I felt like really good energy with her. And anytime that she would come to my classroom or whatever, I always knew it was to help me. I never felt like she was out there just to try to catch me with something, but I always felt like she was always trying to help me to excel. And she had that very positive energy with the students as well. That's what I really hope in a superintendent and also in principals of the school, that people can feel comfortable with them, that you don't feel like they're just there to observe you, to catch you with something, but they're there to help you to be successful. And I felt that in the school in KDIC before I went to Dubai. I do not feel that at the school I'm out right now.
Well, I can tell you, thank you for the comments. Dr. Whitbeck, that's who you're talking about, was an outstanding administrator as a principal. And you're doing, was it Christy Whitbeck?
Yeah,
was
that was her name.
Exactly.
I think that was her name, yeah.
Yes, sir, Christy Whitbeck. Yes. Yeah, now she's superintendent in Bryan ISD and doing an outstanding job there as well. So thank you for recognizing her.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any other comments on the mic or in the comment section, as Dr. Flores was talking about? You can type it in. Or if you have something you want to share with us regarding our profile that we're trying to build, please feel free to talk to us.
Mr. Fraley, we have a comment, and this individual just piggybacking off of Ms. Landry. To achieve the stated aspirations, the next superintendent must be a listener and a learner. He or she will need to be transparent in decision-making and have the demonstrated capability and capacity to communicate clearly and consistently. So again, communication has been a strong strand that has emerged throughout our meetings, multiple meetings that we've had, but it's good to hear that stated so succinctly. So thank you for sharing that.
Well, just amen to that. You know, a system as large as HISD, it's manageable, it can be done, but you've got to talk to each other and you got to listen to each other. And everybody's got to be transparent, not just the superintendent. Everyone's got to be transparent.
Another cross-curricular planning, focus on cross-curricular planning, less testing, more time teaching, improve content-specific department and curriculum development, and support values, teachers, and other campus-based employees. Increased teacher is one way to show value and respect for teachers. Culturally responsive leadership, one who values equity, improved programming across the district, and values teacher creativity and ingenuity. Well stated. Thank you so much, Greg.
Yeah. Great feedback. And again, it's a large system, yes, but we've been talking to folks across the system, and there's a lot of consistency here. So there's a lot to work with, and some great starting points. So I think you have an opportunity here. And the challenge of the board is just to find that right person, and we'll cast a big wide net. We don't hire them. We do the fishing. Bring them all the fish to the shore, and the board will decide which fish to throw back and which ones to look at. And I tell you, I'm very optimistic. I'm getting honestly, I've gotten some contacts already. So and these are some that I welcome. So I'm very excited about it.
Thank you, Mr. Fraley.
Yes, Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Are there some more comments in the chat?
One just popped in.
Okay.
What teachers are expressing is the compartmentalized systems are in place to oversee the numerous components from the district office to the classroom. The systems are not working on any level.
Yeah, how we pay teachers, yeah.
Another characteristic is someone willing to listen directly to the teachers, a person that will offer a safe place for us to not only voice our concerns, but to hear our ideas. We also need a serious reevaluation of how we pay our teachers, raise our salaries, and fund our classrooms, please. Thanks for the comment.
Well, from what I've heard from this board, they're ready to do that. Not to put you on the spot. But I've been listening and paying attention to what you say.
Do we have any more comments at this point?
I would like to just, if I may, Trustee Hernandez, interject here for a second. I know I put the majority of my comments in the chat. And again, let me also apologize. I was trying to get in from a different link and it wasn't working. And so, you know, the struggle got a little real there for a moment. But I want to say this, you know, we often hear that love is an action word. It's not just something that you say, it's something that you do. So just like people say that I love you, they do that by doing little things to show that love. Value is an action word. Respect is an action word. So if you value teachers, if you respect us, if you want to retain us, somebody mentioned the importance and the benefits of having veteran teachers and of having mentors and of having support on campus. You know, all of those things are important, but the way that you do that, you show that by the way that you pay your employees and the way that you value their time in the classroom. Today, with this STAR test, was an utter waste. And I know that's not a superintendent issue here, but there are a lot of tests that the district gives that take away from instructional time. The district has such a high focus currently on CTE that we're losing those cross-curricular connections, and we need a superintendent who recognizes that we can walk and chew gum at the same time. But you have got to be really serious. We have to have a leader who not only listens, but who really internalizes what his or her, team members are saying in terms of what we want and what we need. As a teacher, all of us should be able to live off of that one income. And we know that's not possible. That's not possible. And for a district this large to say, we value teachers and we want the best in our classrooms, you've got to put your money where your mouth is. Point blank, period. And we need a superintendent who recognizes that. So I just wanted to emphasize, those few points. Thank you all, for allowing us, another opportunity, or demanding it, as Mr. Fraley said earlier, on behalf of the teachers on my campus. We really appreciate it. So understand, when I speak, I'm not just speaking for me, but I'm speaking for hundreds who are behind me as well. Thank you again.
Thank you very kindly, ma'am. Okay.
There were a couple of comments, Mr. Fraley, about retaining teachers. A challenge I see is retaining teachers and talent. We have so many teachers leaving HISD, and with them, we see experience and institutional history disappear. I fear it's going to be worse after this year. And as a department chair, I saw 4 teachers leave our department just last semester. So again, back to what the last commenter just said.
Well, let me share one that just popped in also. A superintendent that has teaching experience in the classroom as well, and that values teacher input and welcomes their ideas at the table. So got that. Thank you. All right. Trustee Hernandez, I think we're back with you now.
Yes, so I believe that Ms. Trin has emailed you the written comments that were submitted beforehand.
I may not have them yet, but if she did, I'll get them. And we have a Google document that we're putting all these into.
So I believe that they should be read during this meeting to put them into the record. So
Wouldn't be on this platform, it's via your email.
Yeah, I've got my iPad open up, so I'm trying to find my email over there. But okay, something just popped up there. Okay, let's see.
There's a couple of comments as you look for those, Mr. Fraley.
I got them. Okay.
I agree with everything everyone is saying. However, can the board work on not fighting all the time? This is a difficult time, and we need to be level-headed. We need a good superintendent, but a good superintendent cannot fix a broken board. Please work better together. Another, when considering what documentation is needed, understand the amount of time needed to create it at the teacher level. The novel length lesson plans required at the district level is completely unnecessary to teach quality instruction. And the amount of time required to do lesson plans, documentation, and other administrative tasks should not exceed the amount of time we are allowed to teach each week. My week is typically 70+ hours because I refuse to give up teaching time, but not all are willing to make that sacrifice, nor should they have to. Another is superintendent who values campus-based support, is someone that they'd like to see. And then another, for an addition, I would like to have a superintendent who believes in shared leadership. So that catches us up on the comments, Mr. Fraley, if you want to read others for the record.
Yeah, these are the ones we just got emailed that were sent in earlier. Every time we hire a superintendent, they leave with a golden parachute. May you please have a legal team help with the contracts so they don't take away billions of dollars for themselves if they resign. You really need a superintendent because the cost historically outweighs the benefit 10 to 50 times. Another one, we want a superintendent who will push for higher academic standards. For example, instead of a 70 as the pass-fail grade, perhaps we should raise it to 80 or 85. Another one, I would like them to fix school lunches. Another comment, consider a candidate that values the importance of kids being in school, not only for education, but sense of safe place, security, food, shelter. Kids need to be in school. Now that things are virtual, we shouldn't have a standard to substitute virtual education for in-person at the drop of a hat. Regardless of natural disasters, pandemics, community tragedies, kids need education more than ever. We need our after-school programs back, we need our extracurriculars back. Kids need these enrichments to succeed. These are the formative years for children aged pre-K through grade 6. Now I'm extremely concerned about the knowledge gap they'll have to make up for. Parents shouldn't feel forced to privatize kids' education just to keep kids in school. Please strongly consider a candidate who values these things. Greetings. We, the parents, appreciate HISD for allowing us to voice our opinions, questions, and concerns. Primary question is why wasn't Mrs. Greene or Lathan considered qualified for the position? Second, I feel that question so hardly answered. HISD can then better know what they're looking for in the next superintendent search. And lastly, the spelling of superintendent is correct. Okay. Please consider revising. It's my prayer that God sends his best to HISD. Again, thank you for allowing us this platform. Another one, will the new superintendent commit to performing his or her duties in a transparent fashion, be responsible to the citizens and the media? Will the new superintendent promote ethnic studies courses at the high school? Will the new superintendent insist on accountability by staff, principals, and teachers? Level and dedication to streamlining the consequences for student bullying, discrimination, and sexual harassment. Candidate has demonstrated success leading a large public school system to a significantly higher level of academic performance, working equally with Black and Latino populations, appropriately interfacing with a diverse trustee board, acknowledging important roles of local government, business community, and HFT, able to inspire HISD staff and school administrators and teachers to innovate more effective education for all students. I think the best candidate for the job may be someone with a long tenure with HISD. I believe that someone with a heart for Houston and our students would best serve our community. Next, I feel that we have someone that's doing a great job as the interim superintendent, and we should hire for the role. Why shake things up even more than the pandemic is already with someone who is new and doesn't know our district like Dr. Lathan? Also, if you're doing a search nationwide, to me, it would make sense to hire someone within the district that meets all the qualifications if there must be a new superintendent. That way, this new person knows the culture and fabric of the district and has the drive to make it better. This person should be with values, love, integrity, and professional teaching experience. Our kids need role models who make them independent, love our history and country. Next one, someone with a successful multi-school district within Texas. Next, as a native Houstonian, the one thing I believe the district should definitely consider is that the superintendent is chosen from a pool of candidates that are Houston educated, are professional in all forms of communication, and are business and management managerial competent. Our superintendent is already employed or has been previously employed with the district. And the last comment that we have, we don't need flashy, we need serious and reliable. Honestly, I believe that someone within HISD is probably best suited to take over, given that they are familiar with the players, the policies, and the problems that exist here. There are so many issues that face this very large and diverse district, and we don't have all the time to play games with superstars, quote, who know they can come and impose their old ways on our unique district. And we'll have those as well as in our Google document to help put together the profile. And again, the profile is going to be an advertisement for the job. It's not going to be verbatim everything everybody said, but we'll have the essence of it, and the board will look at it. And if there's something they feel is missing, that we'll add it to that, and we'll make it a living document. We'll post for the position. We'll continue to evolve the needs and wishes that the board begins to screen the candidates. And as they also begin to generate questions, they'll be asking of the candidates during the interview as well. So plenty of chances to make certain that the needs of the community, wishes of the community are manifest. All right.
Mr. Fraley, there's a few comments that came in.
Right.
I would like a superintendent who truly understands the diverse makeup of HISD, someone who truly wants to make education equitable for all. We need a superintendent who values the importance of cultural field experiences as well. Exposure to certain experiences often makes a positive improvement in student learning. Another comment, the school lunches are horrible. I would not eat them, and I feel sorry for the children who have to eat them. This is an example of a bad contract. And then thank you, trustees, for this forum to express our ideas on the superintendent search profile. So that we're caught up on the chat.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Fraley and Mr. Flores.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Right now, we do have a quorum, so are there any comments or questions from my colleagues? I guess this chat is different. Okay. So thank you, the board members who were here. Thank you, Mr. Flores.
I'll just say thank you to everyone who took the time for joining.
Go ahead, Trustee Guidry.
Was there a delay?
Oh, sorry. That was sorry. I thought it was Trustee Guidry that was saying something. Go ahead, Trustee Cruz.
I just want to say thank you to everyone who took the time. I know everyone's busy. Really appreciate the time and the input.
Trustee Santos.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to echo Trustee Cruz's point that thank y'all all for making it out tonight. I know today was a stressful day, many calls from parents and students. And again, Morris is calling. And thank y'all all tonight for coming out tonight, or Zoom. When we hear you, I hear you. Thank you.
All righty. Well, thank you again for allowing us to be a part of this. And we have 2 more tomorrow, one with trustee, with students, and one with, I think, parents as well. So looking forward to that. And,
thank you.
And we'll see you guys later on this week.
Yes. Thank you, board members, and thank you, Mr. Fraley and Mr. Flores. And then special thanks to the teachers who participated in this town hall tonight and provided us, the board members, with valuable input. Your thoughts and suggestions will guide us as we consider available superintendent candidates to choose the one who best meets the needs and expectations of our community. With no further business to discuss, this special meeting of the board is adjourned. The time is 6:12 p.m. Have a good night.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.